On Fox 21 News at 9.
It's Thursday. Dr. Scott in the house is here. Welcome. Scott Uhall's director, wellness director at Phil Long Dealerships. And today we're talking about stress. Big issue, right?
Yeah, stress is tough. Stress permeates around us. And it's not so much where the stress comes from, but how you deal with the stress that's really important.
You say there are different types of stress, right?
Right. Actually, the most common stress you think of is distress. All right? People, when bad things happen, I'm worried about getting something done on time, getting the kids to class or whatever it may be. But there's also a good stress. It's called eustress, and that's a beneficial stress. That's the stress that you feel when you've accomplished a task, when you get satisfaction out of doing things. And really, how you look at what causes the stress determines whether it's distress or eustress.
How does our body react to stress? You say it's almost like a chemical reaction, right?
Right. Our bodies are mostly water. We're about 70% water. And if you think about it, there's just a bunch of hormones in our bodies. And if I went, hey, for example, and scared you, that would influence the response inside our bodies.
Right.
And
I got a little adrenaline response there, right?
Big stresses like that are obvious, and you can respond to those. Little stresses like maybe light outside when you're trying to sleep or noise, little stresses aren't quite so obvious, but our bodies respond to that. And if you don't accommodate that internal stress, that irritation, if you will, builds up over time and can lead to chronic diseases like cancer and heart disease and diabetes, a lot of the things we're suffering from today.
Those are some of the big issues. I mean, are there little things that can develop from stressful situations?
There's lots of things. For example, work stress, stresses to perform, for example, at work, at home. Just stress comes from everything, and really it's how you respond to the stress that's most important. And the best things that you can do is really identify what causes that stress and then respond to that in a beneficial way if you can.
What are some of the signs that or symptoms that your stress is getting to you?
Common ones are things like irritability, it could be sweats. More ones that aren't quite so common that do occur are gastrointestinal problems, inability to sleep, not finding humor in things. So those things really can come out and manifest themselves, especially under pressure.
Are there ways that the doctors can figure that out? Should you go see a doctor if you think you're stressed out?
The elevated blood pressure is commonly one. Again, the GI issues, elevated heart rates, panic attacks. Also things like depression and non-interest in work, losing interest in the things that you normally find fun in, not taking care of yourself, things of those.
Good. We're gonna talk with Dr. Scott next week about how to cope with some of these stressful situations. Dr. Scott, thanks for coming this morning. We'll see you here next week.